नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So, today morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 52, entitled Rukmini's Marriage with Krishna. Text number 19. Bhagavan shrotumicchami Krishnasya tejasaha yatha magata salvadin jitva kanyam upaharat. Bhagavan shrotumicchami yatha magata salvadin Bhagavan shrotumicchami Krishnasya tejasaha yatha magata salvadin jitva kanyam upaharat. Bhagavan shrotumicchami Krishnasya tejasaha yatha magata salvadin jitva kanyam upaharat. Bhagavan shrotumicchami Krishnasya tejasaha yatha magata salvadin jitva kanyam upaharat. Bhagavan shrotumicchami Krishnasya tejasaha yatha magata salvadin jitva kanyam upaharat. Bhagavan, O Lord, Shukadeva Goswami, Shrotum, to hear, Ichhami, I wish, Krishnasya, about Krishna, Amita, immeasurable, Tejasaha, whose potency, Yatha, how, Magadha, Shalva, Adin, such kings as Jarasandha and Shalva, Jitva, defeating, Kanya, the bride, Upaharat, he took away. My Lord, I wish to hear how the immeasurably powerful Lord Krishna took away his bride while defeating such kings as Magad and Shalva. Purport. We should not think that Sri Krishna was actually afraid of Jarasandha. In the very next chapter, we will find that Sri Krishna easily defeats Jarasandha and his soldiers. Thus, we should never doubt the supreme prowess of Lord Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I am very grateful to be able to speak to you on the occasion of Sri Gopashtami, the very auspicious day. Today we are in the situation in the narration of Srimad Bhagavatam that maybe it is the second last day of the story of Parikshit Maharaj. And Parikshit Maharaj has not eaten or drank anything or slept in the night. And still he is saying, I am very eager to hear about Krishna. And that's why again and again Shukadev Maharaj congratulates Parikshit Maharaj for having so much interest and so much enthusiasm and so much eagerness to hear about Sri Krishna. And that is the greatest qualification of Parikshit Maharaj, due to which Shukadeva Goswami Ji is perpetually encouraged, enthused to go on narrating, because he also has not eaten or slept all these days. And after describing the Braja pastimes, now they are going ahead with different pastimes of different locations. And now Parikshit Maharaj is very eagerly awaiting the description of how Sri Krishna married Rukmini. One of the most heroic and most wonderful descriptions. All of us are very interested in having a hero, and we always want to at least keep on discussing about our hero. And these requirements of the soul by nature, by constitution, are completely fulfilled by hearing such pastimes as Rukmini Haran. How Krishna heroically came like a lion in the middle of so many jackals and picked up his bride and gracefully walked away and gracefully defeated them very easily. We call it Lilaya. Lilaya means very easily as a pastime. Defeated everybody and very graciously, honorably took Rukmini back to his kingdom. And very much nice verses will follow. It's a very beautiful chivalrous, we call in Hindi Sansani case, action, emotion, all kinds of emotions are there, which can fulfill all our needs of entertainment and all our needs of spiritual nourishment also. So, today is very auspicious day of Gopastami, on which day three great personalities departed from this world. First of all is our dearest Srinivas Acharya, was a very, very dear devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His father Gangadhar attended the ceremony of sannyas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Katwa, Kantakanagar. And when he was there witnessing, he just completely became intoxicated with ecstasy of love for Gauranga. And he only kept on chanting, Ha Gauranga, Ha Gauranga. While he was there, when he left from there, when he went home, and all the while. And became completely absorbed in Gauranga's meditation and thoughts. And became detached from everything in the world. People started calling him Chaitanya Das, just because of his Ha Chaitanya, constantly calling and talking. One day suddenly, in his most renounced condition, he suddenly felt like having a child, having a son. So he told his wife that I want to have son. So she said, we'll go to Jagannath Puri and take blessings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they went to Jagannath Puri. Lord Chaitanya said, all your desires will be fulfilled without even talking to them. And then he told the devotees that the son born to Gangadhar, Chaitanya Das, will be the embodiment of my love. And he will be non-different than me. I will come as his son. And I have produced books through Rupa and Sanatan. I will in future. And I will publish them through this son of Gangadhar, whose name will be Srinivas Acharya. And of course, Srinivas Acharya is the main topic of discussion of Hari Bhakti Ratnakar. Can go on and on and on describing for hours together the beautiful pastimes of Acharya Srinivas and how he led the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in second generation after the Goswamis. How we visited Navadvip in the house of Sachi Mata, how she blessed him profusely with her prasad, with her blessings, with her tears, bathing him with tears. So today we offer our most humble, prostrated obeisances at the lotus feet of Srinivas Acharya, who is the very embodiment of love of Gauranga Mahaprabhu on his disappearance day. Today also happens to be the disappearance of Gadadhar Das Goswami, famous Gadadhar Das. He was personification of Radharani's luster or effulgence. Technically, he was the combination of two personalities. One is Chandrakanta Gopi and another is Purnanada. Chandrakanta Gopi is also supposed to be effulgence of Radharani. The moon-like effulgence, soothing moon-like effulgence of Radharani, Chandrakanta Gopi. And Purnanada is the personal Sakhi of Balramji. It's a combination of both. So with this background, he was, Gadadhar Das Goswami was very close to Lord Chaitanya and also very close to Lord Nityananda also. Lord Chaitanya, in Gaur Leela, he had two kinds of associates. One group of associates were in Sakha Bhav. They were in the past, when Krishna came as Krishna in Gokul Leela, in Vrindavan Leela, they were Sakha, they were friendly with Krishna. And many of them were in the Krishna Leela, they were gopis, they were in Sakhi Bhav. So one group of devotees were in Sakhi Bhav and one group of devotees were in Sakha Bhav. It is said that most of them who were in Sakha Bhav were very, very close to Lord Nityananda. They were his intimate friends. And those who were in Sakhi Bhav, mostly they were very close to Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So, very famous story of Gadadhar Goswami is the Kazi story. He went to Kazi and told, chant the name of Lord Hari. So Kazi said, I will chant the name of Hari Lord tomorrow. He said, why tomorrow? You already chanted the name of Hari. He started dancing in ecstasy, What kind of courage, what kind of conviction and determination he had. It would have costed his life to him. Such daring he did. They could have killed him actually. But he was so much imbued and absorbed in Gauranga's mercy that he went straight up to him and told him, why don't you chant the name of Lord Hari now? And he said with same enthusiasm, I will chant the name of Lord Hari tomorrow. And then, because of the mercy of Gadadhar Das Goswami, Kazi developed love for Godhead. Instantly. From what position to what position? This is Gaur Leela. So we also offer our humble obeisances in gratitude to Gadadhar Das Goswami, begging him for the courage and boldness, the conviction about the mercy of Lord Gauranga and what the mercy of Lord Gauranga can do, the understanding about it, we beg from him on this today's auspicious day. Also today we are celebrating the disappearance day of Dhananjay Pandit Maharaj. Krishna had many friends. One of them was Vasudama. One is Dama, one is Sudama, one is Subal, Ujjwal. So many friends of Krishna. One of them was Vasudama, and Vasudama became Dhananjay Pandit in Gaur Leela. And he was because he was Sakha of Krishna, he naturally was very, very close to Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda made Dhananjay Pandit Maharaj's heart as his permanent residence. It was so dear to Lord Nityananda. He was fully renounced and his heart was filled with love for Krishna. Lots of description, time is very short. And to this very loving associates of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, we offer our heartfelt obeisances and pranams and remember them on this auspicious day of Gopastami. In Sri Vrindavan Dham and especially in Nandagaon, today's day is a very, 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 very auspicious day. And along with auspiciousness, it's a very, very joyful day. Everybody is so blissful and enchanted with today's occasion. And full Brajbhumi is filled with joy. All the cows are being decorated with garlands and with ornaments and with bells and with nice chadar and worship And today's day, uh, all the cows are led by the cowherd boys on all roads. Maybe thousands of cows in different roads of Braj Bhumi, in Loi Bazaar and in all the gullies of temples and houses. And everybody is very eagerly inviting the cows of anybody else's cows. They come home, they feed them sweetmeats and prasad and beautiful eating items, wear them garlands, offer worship to them, wash their feet. Then they go to next house, and people are singing songs of beautiful songs are related to Gopastami, were glorifying the cows. And whole day, the cows are just going to each and everybody's house and come back in the evening. And till they come back in the evening, there are songs after songs after songs after songs happening. It is also explained that a Brajvasi is called as Brajvasis or will be called as Brajvasi only if he herds cows. So there are many Brajvasis nowadays who are staying in America, England, and Goswamis. And sometimes afterwards they come back to Vrindavan. And even at the 51st year or 60th year, they will go herding cows, taking a stick in the hand lovingly and take the cows for grazing. Just to be keeping their title, like in our MBBS we have to keep on attending some medical conferences to get credit points and keep our certificate and registration on. So like that, to keep their entitlement as Brajvasis, they have to do this at least one time in life. So much so, life in Braj Bhumi is connected with cows. Also, I remember at one time, one Goswamiji called Sushil Goswamiji was at my house. In fact, the whole family is in my house. His father, his brothers, and his grandfather was sick. So they were taking treatment in my house, in our hospital, staying in my house. And that day, along with those so many days, happened to be Gopastami. So these Nandagaon Goswamis were so much missing Gopastami that he was calling constantly after every half an hour. Now where are the cows? Now where are the cows? Now where are the cows? Right from morning till twilight. He must have made so many calls. Now which song is being sung? Now what is happening? That means right from leaving home in the morning to grazing, to coming back at Tergadamba, from there Tergadamba, Asheshwar Mahadev, from there to home. It's a long festival, full day festival. It's not 1 hour festival, it's maybe 10 to 12 hours festival. And all the cowherd boys of Nandagaon, they especially accompanying them everywhere and singing different songs of different times of that whole one day also. So they were like, with heart was fully there, only body was over here. And they were completely in touch with the situation happening in Nandagaon. In the end, they became very emotional that the cows have come back to Ter Kadamba. Now they are coming back home. Now they will be worshipped at home and fed nice sweet meats and worship. So this is the mood, the original pure mood of Brajvasis. How they have their feelings about Gopastami. How cows are so much important, integral part of their life. This Goswamiji one time gave me dust from the hooves of a baby cow. After coming from grazing, he every day takes out the dust between the groove. There is a groove in the hoof of the calf where a lot of dust is stuck. So they take it out and they collect it. And they say that every day morning when we go to our office or a work or whatever important task, suppose somebody has to get married or some important job has to be done, they put that dust on their head and then they go. So that day, one day he gave me that dust gift. And Goswamiji tells me regularly that moment he gets up in the morning, first thing without even doing anything, he straight goes to his window and takes darshan of his cows in his cow shed and then starts his morning duties. So without that, our day cannot start, without taking darshan of the cows. Because cows are so auspicious that just by looking at the cows, just by thinking of the cows, one can get freed from all sinful activities, collections of all pious activities or whatever bad or good, whatever karma we have accumulated, everything gets destroyed. We just move hands on the cow's body with great love and affection. All your anxieties and frustrations and worries can be taken away. You can try this. If you have any psychiatric patient, take them to cows And let them be with the cows, let them move their hands on the cows for few days, let them stay, serve the cows. You can see the difference in the psychology of the psychiatrically ill patients. 100% sure. Those who have tuberculosis, Ayurveda tells that they should stay in the cow barn and live there only. And we say that you stay and chant Hare Krishna in the cow barn. By that way, it is proved, it is already there in Ayurveda. One of the part of treatment of tuberculosis, Raja Yakshma, Kshay Rog, is to stay near the cows in cowshed, in the smell of cow dung and cow urine. So anyways, this is all technical things, but love and importance of the cows in our spiritual life is indescribable. So on this day, before this day, when Krishna was under 5 years of age, and after 2 years of age, very small years of age, he was given the charge of baby cows, bachra and bachri. And he would go to herd them. There was one rule made by Mother Yashoda, that she, all of you know that Nandagaon is on the hillock, and the houses of Nanda Maharaj is on the top of the hill. And there are many windows there, many sit-outs or gazing out windows. So if she comes out of the topmost of all window, she should be able to see where Krishna is. Only that much far Krishna can go with the baby cows. That was the rule. Any direction they can go, all circle they can go, but whenever she comes, she should be able to see where they are. Beyond that, they are not supposed to go, as Vatsapal. So that's why they would go up till that place called where they killed Bagasur. What's it called? The place where Bakasur was killed. That was the farthest point they went. So as Vatsapal, he would herd cows, and one time Brahma came and stole the baby cows. That is the last pastime in Vatsapal pastime. So one day when Krishna was herding the baby cows, all the boys started teasing him. What is this? You are already grown 5-year-old and you are still taking care of baby cows. Your mother and father don't have faith in you that you are capable of doing this. That is why still they are giving baby cows to you. And all the friends, they just harassed Krishna like anything. And Krishna first of all was joking, taking it jokingly. But later on when this became very serious and Krishna became very morose, he started crying, he became very discouraged. He said, I am such a grown-up child now, and my mother and father are not having faith in me, and they are still giving me like toys to play with the baby cows. This is not good. And before that few days, the elderly Gopas, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, Upananda and their wives and everybody was watching that Krishna is behaving differently because he has now grown up. His behavior has become different. He wants to be independent. He wants to take his independent decisions. He doesn't want to be always controlled by elders. And one day, Mother Yashoda told Upananda's wife, Prabhavati, that previously I used to wake him up, I used to do his Mukhamarjan, I used to massage oil on his body, I used to do so many things, and I would give bath to him. But these days, Krishna is feeling very shy. So he gets up and immediately goes away. And all these things he does himself and he comes back. And then I give him sweetmeats. So Prabhavati said, yeah, he's grown up now, he's feeling shy, he's now grown up. He's showing symptoms of growth. His behavior, his way of dressing, he's become more meticulous, he's become more neat, more organized. And he doesn't want to always be under my control, he wants to be independent. So the gopis and the gopas came together and discussed, now actually he's growing up. So why not give cows to him instead of baby cows? Because nowadays we are watching that when we go to herd big cows and he goes to herd small cows, the big cows leave us and go behind him. And it's very hard time for us to not allow them to go to Krishna and Balaram. They simply go by like natural force, they just go to them. They don't want to leave Krishna. And Krishna is very happy with big cows and they are very nicely handling them. We are watching this. This is happening at home level. Scene number 2, few days before these days. And the last day, the cowherd boys really harassed Krishna. So every day, when Krishna comes back home as a Vatsapal, all the small, small girls are waiting and they are holding plates with lamps and sweetmeats and colors and everything. And they do Aarti of Krishna, they sing songs, and Yashoda will come and embrace Krishna and kiss him and hug him and smell his head and then carry him in the lap and then take him home and then give him bath, then give him sweetmeats, then give him breast milk, then change his dress, put him night dress, put him on the bed, sing songs, and then Krishna will go to sleep to wake up next morning with new songs. That day, Krishna just came straight with all these, through these all ladies, girls, everything, straight went to his bedroom and slept. That day no bath, no abhishek, no sweetmeats, nothing. And straight he slept with his face down in the bed, upside down. That means upset child. Nothing, he just slept. And every day what happens in the morning? Every day in the morning when Krishna wakes up, Yashoda comes and starts singing beautiful songs of waking Krishna up. And Krishna will jump from his bed and first he will play his flute. What is the meaning of that? He is telling all the friends, come on friends, get up, time to go. And everybody will get up by his flute sound and they'll start getting ready in the house. And then Krishna will get ready in the house and then ceremoniously everybody will come together. All the small Gopas will come to assist Krishna's mother to give him some ornaments in her hand and towel in her hand and something in her hand, whatever she wants to get to dress Krishna. It's a very big ceremony every single day. Then decoration, then breast milk, then sweet meats, and then arati, and then blessings and kissings and smelling the head again, and then bye-bye with baby cows. But this day, no flute sound. So all the cowherd boys woke up by natural habit, anticipating flute sound will come. No flute sound. By the time they got ready, they got decorated by their own mothers, their own calves, everything got ready. And they also came to the house of Krishna. Still Krishna was in the bed. And since early morning from the time of waking up, Yashoda Mai is singing songs from left side, then from right side, then from center, then from below, then from this and that. No response. Because it is said, no, that if you are sleeping, you can be woken up. But if you are pretending to sleep, very difficult to wake you up. So Krishna was upset because he had been harassed by the cowherd boys and also not shown faith by his parents. That was, he was thinking in the mind. And then Yashoda Mai discussed with Nanda Maharaj, what happened today? We are ready with cows and they are supposed to be taken by Krishna today. We have arranged, we have called Brahmins because when they discuss all these things, they took out Muhurta, they called Brahmins and said Kartik Shuddha Ashtami is a very beautiful day, auspicious day. They have called all Brahmins, made all arrangements for puja and everything, taken out Muhurta, at which time cows can go with Krishna out and everything is planned and Krishna is not waking up. So Nanda Maharaj told, you have not told him that today is a day for giving cows to you. Wake up, my dear Krishna. So Yashoda Mai said, yes. She ran. And she said, Gopal, today we are going to give you big cows. And you can go with the big cows to herd them in far distances. So he jumped from the bed immediately and played the flute. But to hear the flute, everybody was already there. Said, Krishna, we are already there. Where are you? Then express getting ready that day. Everything was so fast. Everything was so quick. And Yashoda Mai, dressed up Krishna so beautifully. And I will tell you exactly how she dressed up. Before that, so many cows were there, ready. There were 4 different kinds of cows. Nanda Maharaj had lakhs of cows. We say in our discussions and readings that he had 9 lakh cows. I don't believe that because I read that when Krishna was born, he gave 2 lakh cows. When this happened, he gave 1 lakh cows. When this happened, he gave 2 lakh cows. How can there be 9 lakh cows? There has to be lakhs and lakhs of cows. Because every time they are giving in lakhs of cows donation to every event. And there are so many events like this, and then reproduction is not like, today you give 2 lakh and tomorrow 2 lakhs are already given birth again and they are also growing. So, white cows, red cows, black cows and yellow cows are the main colors. Then there are subdivisions like white cows with black dots, white cow with brown dots, brown cows with white dots, brown cows with various dots. So you can see so many subdivisions that make it 100 groups of cows. with these 4 principal colors and all the variety of most possible imaginations we can have, various decorations, there are 100 subgroups. And then there are cows which have head or face like mridanga. Then there are cows who have natural tilak on their forehead of different kinds. And those make 8 groups. And in this way, Krishna, Nanda Baba, they have 108 herds of groups of cows. So all these cows in a very beautiful divisions were already standing over there, in a very beautiful decorations with horns, with gold caps, and with all legs with ornaments, tail colored with haldi and attached with peacock feathers, covered with beautifully decorated chadars, with nice garlands of flowers and nice garlands of metal and hanging with golden bell. So many beautiful decorations, and they were standing so gracefully awaiting Krishna's presence. And then some of the names Chakravarti Pad gives. White cows were called as Dhauli, Hamsi, Chandani, Ganga, Mukta, Tilakini. Red cows were called as Aruni, Kumkuma, Saraswati. Black cows were called as Shamala, Dhumala, Yamuna. Yellow cows were called as Pita, Pingala, Haritalika. Tilak cows were called as Chitrita, Chitra Tilaka, Dirga Tilaka, and Mridanga Mukhi, those who have face like Mridanga, Singha Mukhi, like that. All quoted by Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad, Jiva Goswami and Srila Prabhupada in his purports of 10th canto, 35th chapter. So, it is said that Krishna had a bead, set of beads, having 108 beads on that. And when he would go to herd the cows, he would always count them. In each group he will count in one bead to make sure that his group has come. And he was so meticulous and so much attentive that he would not miss even one group. He had all the descriptions of all the groups in his mind. It's very difficult for us to remember. But he was very fond of the cows, so he would never forget them. In Sri Krishna Bhavnamrut Mahakavya, Vrindavan Chakravarti Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that when Sri Krishna would herd the cows and play the flute, Lalita would tell Krishna, by calling different cows and playing flute, Sri Krishna is soothing our heart and soothing our eyes, which are burning with separation, by giving his darshan to our eyes and making us hear his flute. Kavi Karnapur in Krishnaika Kaumudi says that Sri Krishna is standing, leaning to his favorite Kadamba tree, leaning against his stick, playing his flute, kissing the flute on his lips, and sending sweet melodies to call the cows and enchant the whole atmosphere. So this is how Sri Krishna's description is given. And then, when Krishna got ready, how he was decorated, he was wearing new cow herding dress. Whatever requires to be worn, you have to be tied up with one rope on your waist, one cloth on the top, flute in the hand, another stick, 2 sticks in hand to herd the cows. It is explained by Jiva Goswami that Krishna and the cowherd boys and Balramji never used the stick to beat the cows. They only would show the sticks and change the direction of their movement. They were also bedecked and decorated by Mother Yashoda by many protective herbs, which will protect them, because today his Krishna is going to go beyond the limits of Vatsapal. He is going to go to far forests. So cows are very happy that first of all we will be free from the checking glances of Mother Yashoda. We can go far distances. They received the blessings of Brahmanas. Mother Yashoda took them to Brahmanas. They worship Brahmanas and everybody worshipped them, Krishna and Balaram. Krishna and Balaram were made to hear sweet songs by various singers. Various dances were being performed to please Krishna, to see them dancing. And there was continuous music. And Sri Krishna now were ready to depart with the cows. Yashoda Mai and Nanda Maharaj had made a very beautiful plan. How they will go. There were some Brahmanas who already did a lot of rituals and chanted mantras to create auspiciousness, to let them go, and some of them were appointed to go with them And they were supposed to be in front chanting the Vedic hymns and mantras, creating auspicious atmosphere with songs and music and verses. They offered worship to cows by washing their feet and giving them arghya. Brahmanas made Krishna Balaram do this activity. They also made Krishna Balaram feed the cows with sweet chickpeas. Then Krishna Balaram circumambulated all the cows. I don't know how he did so fast. So many cows were there. And then Mother Yashoda told them to also do the same worship to the Brahmanas. So they offered them arghya, they washed their feet, they circumambulated them, they offered obeisances to them. And after that, Mother Yashoda came with 2 pairs of shoes and 1 pair of umbrella. And he says, Sri Krishna and Balaram, you are going to go to far distances. It's going to be very hot in the daytime. The road is not very smooth. It is going to be rough with thorns and pebbles and stones. So we are worried that your feet will get hurt. It is said that even when he would go to Vatsapal pastimes, the gopis would cry at home because his feet were so soft and red that even if you put your finger on that, it will become red. What to speak of touching it with stone on the road with the full body weight. And now he is going to go to far forest. So they were all worried. So Mother Yashoda got them a pair of shoes. So Krishna and Balaram said, Krishna Balaram, here are 2 umbrellas, you have to hold on yourself. And here are 2 pairs of shoes, one each for you. Please wear them and herd your cows. So Krishna said, do you have shoes for my cows and umbrella for them? But they are also going to go with me. Of course, everybody knows that cows' feet are having very strong, stone-like soles, not like us. But still Krishna said, if you give all the cows the shoes and each cow 1 umbrella, then we will accept this umbrella. So Yashoda said, I don't have all these kind of shoes, so many number of shoes and umbrellas. I have 2 umbrellas and 2 pairs of shoes. Please wear them. Krishna said, we reject the shoes because we want our shoes also to be available to cows. So she said, I don't have. So he said, then we will not wear. And all this discussion was being heard by the cows. And they came to know that our Sri Krishna is determined not to accept shoes till they give us shoes. And it is obvious we are not going to get shoes. So while the discussion is going on, long discussion, all the cows went in all 4 directions and crushed all the pebbles, all the stones, all the thorns, everything whatever is on the way which will obstruct Krishna's feet and hurt Krishna's feet. And they didn't know which direction Krishna will choose to go today. It's not declared which side will go today. So they went to all over Braj and everything they crushed to powder condition. So that wherever he may decide to go, it will not hurt him. And again they came back and stood wherever they are supposed to stand. So all the Braj Raj is actually made and created by the cows. By thumping their hooves with love in thought process that our dear Sri Krishna may walk on this place and there should be no thorn, no pebble, nothing should hurt Krishna. So everything is like powder, talcum powder. And what is happening further than that? All the cows were so happy there onwards that their udders were anyway big. They were like drums and they were like matkas, earthen pots. They were hanging, touching the ground. Their hearts filled with love and thoughts of Krishna. So they were always dripping with drops of milk from their udders. So all this powder like dust of Brajbhumi was made wet by the milk flowing out of love from the udders of the cows. It was cool, butter-like combination, very beautiful and cool and smooth, not slippery, but very cool for the feet. So all these arrangements for Krishna's lotus feet were made by the cows themselves. That is why Akrur, when he came to Vrindavan, he could see those footprints. Because at the same time when cows did this business of crushing all the thorns and pebbles into powder, they also made an agreement that all of us, including the cowherd boys, they made an agreement, resolution among themselves, that we will go with Krishna and Balram and see that we will never step on their footprints. They will always go ahead of us and we'll go behind them. You can imagine, Krishna Balram had in their own lakhs of cows. And there were lakhs of cowherd boys in the Vrindavan Bhumi, Nandagaon and other places. They also had thousands and lakhs of cows. So you can just imagine how many cowherd boys and how many cows must be there. And there were bulls also. There were buffaloes also. There were bakris also. There were sheep also. There were so many other animals also. Everybody will accompany Krishna. Who would stay at home when Krishna is going to herd cows? All the rabbits and all the small animals and the sheep and the goats, everybody would go. You can imagine how the scene must be. Over two eyes, the farthest wide angle lenses in the eyes cannot capture the scene. It's so wide and so large. So they made a resolution that we will never step on any footprints of Krishna. And when Krishna and Balaram would walk, maybe in a day there may be lakhs and lakhs of footprints will be created. And that's not one day. They went to herd cows for so many years. From the age of 5 when they entered Pauganda on this day, today's day, they began herding big cows. And after that, from till 10 years and 4 months of age, they were in Vrindavan and every day they went to herd cows. Like every day they performed Rasila, every day they went to herd cows. So how many billions upon trillions upon footprints must be created in Braj Bhumi? Few of them are available today, but many of them are lost. So then, after that, Sri Krishna was ready to go. Yashoda came in front. She understood that now my son is not going to accept. So she kept it back, shoes and umbrellas. And then she said, now you please go. She immediately went in the middle of the crowd and told, oh Balaram, you please remain in the front to take care of Krishna. Oh Subal, you remain behind. Oh Dam and Sudama, you both remain on his sides. And then he said, oh all other dear boys, please keep Krishna surrounded by you. Take care of him. He is very naughty. He is very unpredictable. You please surround him and protect him. Everybody was so happy. Then she got all the boys in her embrace and bathed them with her tears of affection that you are going to take care of my son now when you are herding cows. Then Krishna offered respects to his mother and father, offering obeisances, and he wanted to leave. So he made sound, jihi, jihi. That means cows to go, and no cows moved. So I was wondering what to do. So again he made sound, jihi, jihi, like villagers make, They didn't move because they wanted Krishna to move first. So then Krishna went ahead, and the elderly Gopas also were accompanying Krishna. So Krishna very gently told them, you please stay behind. It is said that he wanted to free himself from the iron chains of elders' glances. And he wanted to frolic and have fun. So nicely he convinced them to stay behind. And as soon as the elders stopped walking with him and he went ahead, the cows started walking behind him immediately. And that's how they started shouting and joking and laughing loudly and sporting and frolicking. They went ahead. Sri Krishna, Radha Gopinath Bhagavan ki jai. And like that they went ahead. And Srimad Bhagavatam and so many other scriptures describe what all happened that day. They were so happy and thrilled. But at the same time, it was the day 1 of their long distance traveling. Food came in between. It's called chak. All the gopis came in between with midday meal for them. And they had that meal. They jumped in Jamuna. They jumped on the branch of the trees. They played with frogs. They played with rabbits. They jumped in the water as rabbits, as frogs. They saw their images in the water of Jamuna. They were very happy to see. They shared the food. And time came to go back. Nanda Baba, Yashoda, they now are not able to see them from the top of the mountain. So they are only seeing the sun. When the sun will set. But they were told they would come back before sunset. So they were saying, why sun is not coming down? Some gopis were crying in the heart that where he must be walking. We don't know whether pebbles are hurting his feet. Because they were crying. And Yashoda Mai is again and again going up and down from the window seeing why the sun is so high still. Why is not coming down? And finally the sun came down halfway before setting. And then she said, Nanda Maharaj, I can't wait over here. We must go down. Because he will take some time to climb up. That much time I cannot wait. So they went down. They went all the Sakhis down with plates in the hand, with lamps, with flowers and sweets, and so many auspicious things to move around Krishna. and they waited on the ground level, from the mountain level. And then Krishna was brought by all the cowherd friends to Ter Kadamba. And Ter Kadamba is a very, very special, very important place in the pastimes of cow herding of Krishna. It's a very long, tall tree of Kadamba, very unique tree. You know, when we went for the first time, we saw the very tall tree of Kadamba. Imagine how tall it must be when Krishna was there. So all his lakhs and lakhs of cows, they came back. And it is explained that the cowherd boys were very smart and very intelligent. They would keep their cows in a very organized manner. They would keep the cows in the heat different. They would keep the cows who are pregnant differently. They would keep the cows who are about to deliver babies differently. They would keep first time pregnant cows different. They will keep cows who have become pregnant many times and now are pregnant differently. They would keep cows who give birth to baby every year differently. Then barren cows differently, old cows differently, and they had many bulls also, young bulls differently, old bulls differently, bulls which are used to pull the cart differently, bulls which are carrying luggage differently, bulls which are meant to impregnate the cows differently. So many descriptions, and calves also differently. Don't think that when big cows were there, small cows, baby cows were not taken. They were also there. Everybody wanted to go with Krishna. And then bulls with huge humps differently, bulls used for plowing the field differently, so many things. And all that organization along with the 108 descriptions of herds also were existing. So many variety of combinations and permutations and memory were there in the cowherd boys. And they would call them by names. And then Sri Krishna came just before sunset at Ter Kadamba. That is the place where Rupa Goswami resided and performed his bhajan. He climbed up the top of the tree, took out his flute and started playing the flute. Krishna has got 8 different tunes of flute. And in each tune he has got different purpose. By the way, we will not go into the description of 8 different tunes, but on the 6th tune, it is explained when he plays the 6th tune, all the cows get mesmerized and enchanted and they become stunned like pratima, they become like pictures. All the babies who are sucking milk from the udders of their mother, they just keep their jaw open like this. And some drops of sucked milk keep dripping on the ground and the earth becomes blessed by the prasad of the cows, dripping from the mouth of the baby cows. Some cows who are chewing grass, their jaw falls down. And some grass chewed remains in the mouth, some chewed grass falls on the ground. And eyes open, tail raised up, ears raised up, they become like picture. This is the situation which happens. And when Krishna plays this 6th tune, sitting on the top of the Kadamba tree, all the cows running, they come running with their tail raised, with their ears raised and with eyes gazed upstairs looking at Krishna, mesmerized with the sound of flute. And thus, while Krishna is playing flute, what is happening? Each and every cow is hearing her name in the sound. There is one tune called 6th tune, that is general tune. But when Tilakini hears it, she hears Tilakini, Tilakini, Tilakini. Singamukhi hears, she says Singamukhi, Singamukhi. Aruni, Kumkuma, all these names are being heard. So also Krishna calls first, then he plays flute, and through the flute is more effective and all the cows come running at the bottom of the tree. And some cows purposely do not respond to this flute call because they need more attention. So after all the lakhs of cows are gathered at the bottom of Kadamba tree, Krishna gets down the Kadamba tree, goes to all those trees, pats them nicely, embraces them and brings them by hand. And they are very happy to come back with Krishna. And by this time, all the cowherd boys note that Sri Krishna is very tired because he is not used to traveling such far distances. He is just going few kilometers every day. That's called Khadirvan, now I remember, where Bakasuru was killed. Very close, 4 kilometers from Nandagaon. 7 kilometers, shortcut also is there. So now, his face is tired, sort of sweat on his face. So all the cowherd boys become very worried. His mother Yashoda sees this tired, exhausted face of Krishna. Tomorrow she will not send him to big cows, with big cows to long forests. So So now they gather together and discuss what we should do. We said, we should entertain Krishna, we should make him laugh and feel happy. So from Ter Kadamba onwards to Nanda Bhavan, they start singing songs which are very joking and which are very funny and which are very laughing. And they make Krishna laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. They wanted to make sure that when Nanda Baba, Yashoda see Krishna and Balram, they should be laughing and smiling. That is the final target. So they start singing all kinds of jokes and all kinds of songs which makes Krishna very happy, and all the tiredness goes away. And by the time there is a place called Nanda Baitak, where Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mai are waiting with all small baby girls to receive Krishna, to hear from him what happened today. And when they reach, at that time Krishna is laughing and laughing and laughing. Nanda Baba is very happy, Yashoda is very happy. Yes, our baby, our Krishna Gopal, today he has become Gopal. Up till now he was Vatsapal, now he is Gopal. We have given charge to him of the cows. He is very happy going far distances. And then they come running to the laps of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba. Krishna goes running in the lap of Yashoda. Balram goes running in the lap of Nanda Baba. And finally, both of them come in the lap of Nanda Baba. And they sit in such a way on both the laps that their legs, right leg of Balramji, left leg of Krishna, white and blue, are crossing, sitting on the lap. And he is speaking and Baba is looking at him and looking at him like constantly right and left, both are speaking. Everybody is speaking what happened today. Everybody is narrating what happened today. And so much time goes there in listening to the beautiful stories what happened in the forest. Everybody is so eager. All the cowherd boys also, all Krishna and Balram also. And finally they worship them there and put them sweetmeats and kissed them, and then ceremoniously singing songs. They came upstairs in their house. And this whole, whatever we described today, happened for hours together on that day. It is said by Jiva Goswami that if expert speaker is given 10,000 mouths and he is given a lifespan of 1,000 years, he would be able to describe only one day of Krishna's herding cows. There are so many unlimited descriptions, even Jiva Goswami has given in his book Gopal Champu. But nonetheless, these pastimes of herding cows are one of the major pastimes of Sakhya Leela, and how Krishna gave unlimited pleasures to the Brajvasis, to river Jamuna, to Braj Bhumi, to Mother Earth, and to everyone. It's so important. And even by meditating on cows, one will get devotion and love for Krishna. We feel that cows, how to maintain them. But scriptures explain to us that cows never become burden on human beings. Their nature is they're always giving and giving and giving. Even they become barren, they don't give any more milk, but they give cow dung and cow urine, which we can make so many medications and so many beautiful items which are healthy for life and natural living. So we should never think cows are a burden to society. Cows are never a burden. They maintain all of us. They give support to our living, not that we are maintaining them and we are protecting them. But because our Kali Yuga conceptions are all corrupted, we think cows are a burden and who maintain a cow is so difficult, this and that. But when we use cow products like cow dung shampoo and cow dung soap and cow dung oil and cow dung shaving cream and gomutra toothpaste and so many things are now available. 15-20 items are available today which you can use in daily toiletries. Just by using them, using yourself, getting used to all those items, you are actually supporting the cow protection. And when you touch your body with those items like shampoo and soap and uptan, whatever is made out of cow, by though that touched, we are getting purified unlimitedly. Not to speak of touching the items, even memory of Krishna, cows is purifying us. Being with cows is purifying us. In Sri Ranganath, we remember that every morning at 5 o'clock, a beautiful cow is brought and her hind part is shown to Sri Ranganath. Because the hind part of a cow is the residence of Lakshmi. That is why it is said all the wealth is stored in cow dung which comes out of the hind part of cow. If somebody wants to become economically stable, they should use the cow dung very intelligently. That will make humanity very successful and prosperous. But we have forgotten everything. So that's why thinking of Krishna with the cows, thinking of the cows, serving cows, using cow products for our life, drinking milk of cows, eating cow ghee, eating cow butter, drinking cow chas. All the items are the symptoms of healthy living. And we should convince ourselves that we should serve the cow in such a way that, what is the description of Braj Bhumi? What is called Braj Bhumi? Braj Bhumi is that place where cows graze fearlessly. निर्भय होकर गायें जहां चरती है उसको ब्रज भूमि कहते हैं. And previously whole Bharatvarsha was Braj Bhumi, because all Bharatvarsha was a place where cows were grazing fearlessly, no fear, so much happiness. The udders were full, touching the ground and dripping constantly of milk. That is the wealth of Bharat Bhumi. That's the wealth of Braj Bhumi. Such is our heritage. So we can bring those days back, at least in our capacity to a certain extent. So our community at Govardhan Eco Village is doing that. Venu Madhuri is doing in Belgaum. Adle is doing in near Nigdi. And so many other places. There are cows in Patmeda, 1,75,000 cows. There are 15,000 cows in Ramandreti. And so many cows are there. And they are getting great benefit. When the dust which is coming from the feet of the cows will free you from all inauspiciousness in life. Dust that raises itself, it is called as Godhuli Muhurta, Go Raja Muhurta. What is that? When cows come back, they make the dust rise in the sky and bathe you with that dust. That is the most auspicious moment. There is no need to see Panchanga at that time for marriage or any auspicious event. Godhuli, Go Raja Muhurta is the most auspicious Muhurta. Why it is auspicious? Because cows raise the dust which bathe you and cover you and purify your existence. There is nothing else required to get purified. So we can go on speaking the glories of cow. Time is limited. But on today's day, we must serve the cows, must worship them, worship their feet, wash their feet, feed them beautiful sweetmeats, whatever you can feed them, worship them with aratis and please them. It should not be just for the sake of our benefit. It should be done with true love for them and true appreciation for their contribution in our lives. Most of the things, whenever we do all these things, we are thinking of ourselves. I will get purified. I will get free from my anxiety. I will do this. I will get money. I will get maintenance. I will be, supported. But we have to think about them empathically and do all this worship today, thinking of them, not thinking of ourselves, what I will get by worshipping this. With true love in the heart, the way Krishna had, we cannot have so much love like Krishna had. But with true love in the heart for the cows, we should serve them today, circumambulate them. If we are in foreign land where cows are not seen, think of the cows, see the photographs and meditate about the cows today whole day. Our life will be successful, we will be endowed with love for the Lord and devotion, and we get freed from all sinful tendencies just by thinking of the cows. That is the significance of Gopastami. Gopastami is a very, very auspicious day. Today the whole Braj is filled with happiness and enthusiasm and joy, serving the cows and seeing cows everywhere. I have seen celebration in Mayapur also, how so many hundreds of cows are let free and they are walking all over Mayapur. Wherever they move, the land becomes purified, land becomes auspicious. Wherever cow puts her dung, that becomes auspicious. Wherever she lets her urine come out, that is very auspicious. Our houses were cleaned by cow dung and cow urine in the past. No antiseptic, only cow dung and cow urine. Whole life is encircled and completely covered with cows actually, in Vedic style. So let us all worship and pray to the cow today. And I pray that our life one day will be fully covered with the mercy of the cow. Sri Sri Gopastami Mahamahotsav ki, Krishna's Godhan ki, Sri Krishna Balaram Gaucharan Lila ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Is there any questions anybody has? Any comments?